Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering creativity. I'm Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Just a heads up, everyone, that my new book, Entangleism, The Small Science and Big Art of Loving Your Life, is out and available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. I encourage you to check it out. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is Jordana Leigh, who serves as the Vice President of Artistic Programming for the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. Jordana, welcome to the show.
Aaron, thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here and have a conversation with you.
Totally. Well, I'm so excited to talk with you. Obviously, there are just so many extraordinary things going on at Lincoln Center. And I have the fondest memories from my childhood growing up on 66th and York in New York and going to Lincoln Center all the time. So just many, many incredible memories from that. So everyone, of course, is familiar with the center itself. So I thought we'd kind of delve into a couple of the, what I think are really unique and special programs and initiatives going on. And so first is the San Juan Hill Festival. And wondering if you could share not only, of course, what it is, but especially what it means, especially relating to the geography of Lincoln Center.
So I'm actually running out of rehearsal right now to chat with you. We have Etienne Charles and the Frost Music School, who are actually here, and they're going to be performing tomorrow night, San Juan Hill, a New York story, which is a piece we commissioned. And it actually is the piece that opened up David Geffen Hall oh my goodness, time flies. I was going to say a year ago, but it's like 2.5, 3 years ago. So it's, oh my goodness.
Right.
I feel older by the second.
Right.
That piece, I think, actually kind of sparked us to think about more ways that artists can share an interpretation of what is San Juan Hill. So San Juan Hill is the neighborhood that was here before Lincoln Center was built. And we at Lincoln Center have been actually trying to tell that story and those community members' stories, or uplift their stories, for a while now. Many people were displaced when Lincoln Center was built, and so those stories have not actually stayed in history. They've kind of been displaced with those individuals. And so we have been working for at least the last 5 years to actually tell that history and to actually give space for other voices to tell that history. And so these about 2 weeks right now, we have artists telling those stories. So much jazz came out of this community before Lincoln Center was here. In fact, Thelonious Monk has a street right down named after him where he lived. The Charleston actually debuted here at Shuffle Along, just right around just where the David Rubenstein Atrium exists now. And so there is so much of that. So in this festival, we have Etienne Charles and his original composition, that is the sonic scape of San Juan Hill. He did a lot of research about the community, the different communities who lived here, and how they brought their sound to this neighborhood, and then how that is amplified. And it goes everything from a jazz band to then a full orchestra performing with a jazz band.
Wow, it's amazing.
It's amazing. And it originally was premiered with the New York Philharmonic. We then moved to Aaron Deal, and he is going to be playing the music of James P. Johnson. Aaron knows James P. Johnson's music. I don't think more than anyone else knows his music. And so he's going to be sharing a little bit of those insights. And then we have Carlos Enriquez, who is the bass player from Jazz at Lincoln Center, and he's playing at Dizzy's next week with two nights that are really celebrating the New Yorican element of San Juan Hill.
It's truly incredible. And I love, of course, right, especially just this way of utilizing the arts. I feel like it's yet another demonstration of how the arts can be used to tell these stories. And unfortunately, stories that many people in New York and around the country may not even know about in terms of the history, and especially the geographic history and neighborhood history of, of one of our storied institutions. So absolutely phenomenal, and phenomenal in terms of just being able to utilize the arts to do this at the highest level. So kind of moving on, and hopefully everyone will be checking out, this festival for sure. The kind of there's a lot of different institutions, a lot of people in our audience have different ways in which they may be focusing their programming, and a lot of times looking to say, okay, how do we do things in a way where we are focused on the artist, right? In other words, the artist is the center of what this particular mission is, this vision of what we want to do in terms of impact. So there are these vision-centered initiatives that you have at Lincoln Center, and two that at least I wanted to just tackle: the visionary artists and then Collider Fellows. But maybe if we could just start with visionary artists, and if you could just share with us a little about why and then also the who.
This actually, give credit to Shanta Fake, our Chief Artistic Officer. This was really her vision about how do we celebrate an artist year long, and an artist that's made an impact on our community, and somebody who is really special, who crosses genres. And then we can also think about how we celebrate all the different resident arts organizations here at Lincoln Center. We have the ballet, we have the orchestra, we have chamber music. So, and we have jazz, and we have we have the library. So how do we really engage all the different organizations on campus? And so we started with Terrence Blanchard. And we did a whole year celebrating his work, everything from showcasing his films, the scores that he's done for film, his chamber music for chamber ensembles, everything from there to him, with him playing with the Philharmonic. We then moved to Ruben Blades, and we just finished a year with Ruben. We started off with a project with Jazz at Lincoln Center, playing some of the music of actually his work with Brazil. And people don't know how much Brazilian music has influenced his compositions. And so we celebrated, he actually brought in an a cappella group from Brazil, and they performed along with his band, an amazing piece. And then we bookended it with the Philharmonic playing with Ruben's ensemble playing Maestro Vida. And now we have Janine Tesori, who is amazing and really jumping in and celebrating with us. And we are going to be doing Blue, which is a piece that we've been actually trying to do for years. And so we're so excited to actually be able to do the musical version of this. And then we're ending it with Violet. So there is so much with Janine, and she's also thinking about ways we can build community through this time at Lincoln Center. But it all touches on the different organizations across campus too.
So cool. And I especially love just that, each is so unique because it is, of course, centered on each of these artists. And so just being able to kind of do this deep dive into them and experience their artistry, just truly phenomenal. Just another example of the extraordinary things taking place. And the associated collaborations, so important that you referenced. So that takes us to these Collider Fellows, or the fellowships. Obviously, technology is playing a role. There are so many in our audience I know who are exploring, who are discovering, and maybe even wrestling with some of these ideas, and also how to tackle it, and whether to incorporate various aspects of technology into what they're doing artistically. So can you tell us a little more about your Collider Fellows?
I am so proud to be part of this program, to be leading this program. And I am so lucky to be working with these artists. We have 6 artists that are in residence with us. We had our kind of first public cohort last year. And now this year we have our second cohort. These artists are all working in different disciplines, some working in AI, some working in VR, some working in ways of immersive experiences that don't include a headset or a bot. And they are all trying to think about, they're really using about how these tools actually allow them to tell their stories and in ways that they've been held back before. So, and I will give a shout out to Nona Hendricks, who we did a giant project with 2 summers ago, who really taught me about how artists can use technology to move us forward and to not be scared and to actually, we need to own this technology. We need to be part of the conversation because it's not going anywhere. And as long as we're part of it, we actually know it will actually be used for good and not for scary things. But the residency program is beautiful because it's non-transactional. These artists come, they work with us, they get resources from us. We have a creative lab that is a partnership with Onyx Onassis, which is a creative space for them to work everything from a motion capture space to really high-tech computers to all these other gadgets I don't know anything about. And then the artists are given a really healthy stipend. I will say it is $60,000 just to give them a chance to live. And then they're given a $15,000 research fund too. And they don't have to create anything. If they wanted to read books the whole time, that's great. But artists create all the time. And so this is a chance for them to, we tell them they don't have to do anything, but then they go and make 5 or 6 things. So.
And I love that because it seems like, right, that's what happens when you give artists resources so that, for example, right, they can live and actually focus on their creativity. Their creativity just blossoms, and to be doing this in the cutting edge space with technology. I mean, it just can only, it's, the things that are being defined, the new ways in which all of these different technologies, especially AI, are going to get immersed. And I love what you shared too about owning it. This enables us as the artist community to own these spaces and to be the ones who are innovating and creating rather than letting someone else define it, or of course, God forbid, that kind of nefarious activities relating to the technology. It's absolutely incredible. It's such incredible work. We are almost out of time, but I always like to ask of all of my guests, this work, and especially just talking about the Collider Fellows, right? Like so exciting and just, I could just see is so fulfilling for you. But there has to also be the tough days, things aren't working, or whatever challenges might arise. And just wondering, as an arts leader, do you have any mechanisms or approaches that you have to your work that gets you through those challenges, those tougher of days?
I will actually say, I think having artists around makes a big difference. And actually talking to artists and having them be part of our community and our daily. So we have, in addition to the Collider Fellows, we have 2 artists in residence who are with us. They are salaried artists, Clint Ramos and Mahogany L. Brown, and they help us think of and see the world different all the time. I was having a hard day personally, and I ended up having a conversation yesterday with A.T.M. Charles, Sarah Silverblatt-Bussard, who's another artist. We're premiering her work today, and Nona Hendricks. And my spirits were lifted. So there is a nurturing element. And then I will say my other thing is I get up in the morning and take a giant walk, and that's how I clear my head.
That is so, so awesome. Extraordinary work. Jordana Leigh, thank you so much. You truly are powering human creativity in our world and one of our phenomenal arts engines in the field. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your leadership at Lincoln Center, one of our amazing creative partners. And thank you for being on the show.
Amazing. Thank you for having me. And thank you for continuing to support Lincoln Center.
Just a heads up, everyone, that my new book, Entangleism, The Small Science and Big Art of Loving Your Life, is out and available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. I encourage you to check it out.